I'm doing this, it's like work experience, like internship type thing with a law firm.
Yeah.
Because obviously I want to be a lawyer and no one's offering contracts. So, especially if you don't have any experience. I do have prior experience, but it's not enough.
It's not easy out there. A lot of young people think you got to work for free, you got to pay your dues before you get, before they offer you something. I got to that point where I thought, you know what, I feel like I've done enough.
Yeah.
And at that age, I was, 22, I'm living in London. I cannot be working for expenses anymore. If I'm going to survive in the city, somebody's got to start cutting me a check.
I think politicians are just so disengaged with people, with young people in general. How can someone from Eton relate to someone from Brixton or Hackney or North London? I don't know, for me, I just feel we're losing that kind of connection, and there's a disengagement and this balance with young people and those people at the top. Do you trust Boris Johnson?
Hell no.
Do you trust Nick Clegg? Or, especially, we're not going to go into fees and all that. But, just those kind of major examples for people like maybe who might not be into politics, straight away you're like, well, I don't trust these guys.
You'll meet people who've ticked all the boxes. They went to the right schools, they did the right subjects, they went to the right unis, but they're still not in the place where they want to be.
Yeah.
And definitely don't have the kind of opportunities that their parents did.
I don't know how many of your parents have ever told you that they was doing work experience? They was doing voluntary work.
Not my parents.
You know what I mean? It's just us.
I'm trying to think what my mum was doing.
It's just us. All of them they was working paid jobs. That's how they funded their way through school, all of them, as far as I know.
But actually, who's that? Wait. Poet! He might have a... Come here!
Yo, my GGs, we're on these cold streets.
It's actually quite cold.
Yeah,
you have a few words in this.
What's that, Donny?
What are you saying? You
I haven't thought at 6 a.m. in the morning. Nice to meet you.
How are you, my GG?
Yeah, we're just having a little chat, man.
Have you been unemployed before?
Yeah, it was peak.
What happened?
You know, it was my choice.
Two story.
It was my choice. So when I finished, I dropped out of uni and I was working doing youth work, and I had to always be the bearer of bad news. So anytime something good was happening, all the bosses would come down, guess what, kids are doing this, Anytime something wasn't happening, I had to always be the person to tell the stories and tell the news. And I just got so sick and tired of that responsibility. And so I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna quit, and I want to do something in which I can come back and I can be the individual that breaks the good news, and I can be the person that can influence the area. So I just quit. And then I had to sign on. And that was Aladdin, fam. That was a whole new world, man. I was on the carpet, it was crazy, bruv.
But it just shows you that, as Poet's saying, like for a year and a half, he had no job.
Yeah.
And, at times it can be so, as you said, depressive, and you can feel quite down. And, it can be really tough for young people. But I'd say as long as you have some sort of maybe, hope is very important, but also like a goal and something you're working towards.
That's what it is, man.
And like belief in yourself. Because at the end of the day, he believed in himself to get to where he is now, and he's got loads of opportunities off that, and now he does other work as well.
The worst thing about things in life is the way in people perceive labels, and that's society's perception, but it's up to you to change it. So they will say unemployed, and there's all these negative connotations attached to it.
Yeah.
You're broke, you're poor, you can't go cinema, the Avengers is out, or mate, you're staying at home. You've got to download that on a laptop that you got from your friend that's not even yours. So it's just all these negative connotations attached to unemployed, and it's not true.
Like, when you sit down and you talk to your friends, you're like, yo, I want to do this. And they're like, oh, bring me in. But really, it's just a conversation, nothing happens. That's what I think is another problem.
Some people, they can't get past it because of peer pressure, because of financial pressures and so on and so forth.
I think more youth and more young people, due to maybe a lack of jobs and due to that unemployment, are being proactive, and they are actually saying, you know what, I can get a camera, I can lend a camera, or I can start this business so I can print these t-shirts, or let me use this £20 I have for this rather than these trainers.
Trust me, Daddy.
And I think people are, slowly, it is definitely increasing. It's so important to stay proactive and just see that light at the end of the tunnel, because there are people, and the more, I think the youth are realising that, and we're becoming smarter and quicker.
If you were Prime Minister, what would you do in regards to youth unemployment?
I think I'd be quite radical if I was Prime Minister.
Okay.
I would, just because of the background and because I'm from similar backgrounds as yourselves, I would probably highly, I don't say tax the rich, but that top 1%, in my opinion, has the means and has excess means.
One thing I would do is change the most important thing, and I think is the root of the problem, and that's mentality, and that's with education. So I feel like within areas and youth clubs, and I think in schools from year 7, you should be taught about money management skills. And I think it's just mentality and re-educating yourself. So I would try and set up loads of different schemes which are compulsory. You have to go to them if you're from working class homes. We just need to be re-educated. And once that happens, you'll see a drastic change in these young people. Trust me, Madonni.
That's the point. Man, that was some deep conversation.
It was, isn't it?
It's actually gone dark and everything. And I don't think the bus is coming.
You wanna go?
Poe, do you wanna take tube?
Yeah, I want that. My
Boris
GGs.
bike. We'll be environmentally friendly. Get those Boris bikes.
Don't be silly,
Cheers, a
man.
hug.
Oh, your hugs.
You know what? You guys are sick and amazing, and
Yeah, man.
You too.
you send a positive message to the youth. Oh man, love you guys. Take care.
Sell drugs.
So that's what we think about youth unemployment. Let us know what topic you'd like to hear and who you'd like to be featured on the next episode. Peace.